Hey guys, welcome back to another sports stuff episode. Today we were talking about the hype is dead for these NFL teams. If you guys do enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I post next. Let's get into this video. So earlier this week I did the hype is real for these teams. Now it's the hype is dead for these teams. Now there's only 6 teams I'm gonna be talking about today, because for me, when I say the hype is dead, it's teams that I thought would be playing better than they actually are playing. Whether that means that they still, not all these teams are below 500. Not all these teams are winless. Some of these teams have 3-4 wins, but it's disgusting how they're getting these wins. So let's talk about it. First thing I want to talk about is obviously the Cincinnati Bengals. This team has played horrible, just horrible football on offense, on defense, on special teams. It is awful. I believe they won last week. I want to make sure I have their schedule up. They did beat the Cardinals, but that was a disgusting game. Just watch it. Like you didn't feel like they're gonna win. They got nearly shut out by both the Browns and the Titans. They lost to the Ravens 27-24. Not as bad as it could be. That Rams game was just bad across the board. No one played well in that game. They did do well against the Cardinals, but again, it's the Cardinals. They're trying to win for Caleb Williams. This week they're going up against the Seahawks. They can lose that game. They go against the 49ers the week after, they're going to lose that game. Like they might lose the next 2 games again, and they could be looking at like a 2-5, 2-6 season halfway through the season. Joe Burrow is still injured. Now, again, he did play better last week when he did just fed Jamar Chase, let him do what he had to do. But whenever he's doing anything outside of throwing to Jamar Chase, his offense is useless. Joe Mixon is horrible, not playing good this year. The offensive line is still bad. T. Higgins has done basically nothing all year. Tyler Boyd has done basically nothing all year. Irv Smith has done basically nothing all year. On defense, the only one playing football is like Trey Hendrickson. No one else is playing football, it feels like. This Bengals team is just bad overall. Now, maybe it's the early season struggles. Maybe, 10, 11, 12 games in, they've only lost 4 or 5 games, so they're still in the divisional race. Right now, though, I mean, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Steelers all have a claim to that race. The Steelers are not on this list. I will say right now, the Steelers are not on this list. I did not have hype for them coming into the season. I thought they were a bad offense, and they're going to get carried by defense and special teams. And guess what? Who was right? I was right. Their offense is horrendous, and their defense and special teams are carrying them game in and game out. Game in and game out. If I'm the Bengals, I'm punching the I am worried button. If they don't win a Super Bowl this year, I'm punching, oh no, we need to figure out what's going on. Whether that's move on from our offensive coordinator. I don't know if Zach Taylor is playing calls. Calling plays. Let me see. Who, Bengals OC. Bengals offensive coordinator. I want to see who their offensive coordinator is. Brian Callahan. That's their offensive coordinator. I kept thinking Bill Callahan, because that's the offensive line coach for the Browns. But Brian Callahan has not been doing a good job this year. Lou Anarumo has not been doing a good job this year. Again, I don't know if Brian Callahan is actually calling plays. It might be Zach Taylor. But if Brian Callahan is calling plays, you got to find a different offensive coordinator. You've had the same offensive coordinator for 4 or 5 years, and it's just not working out. It's not working out this year. Last year, their offense wasn't as good either. When they're not feeding Jamar Chase, his offense is useless. Joe Mixon's not playing well. You just restructured his contract where he's making a lot less money, so maybe that makes you keep him, because there are games that he'll go off for 4 or 5 touchdowns and then nothing the rest of the year. And it happens every single year. He'll go off for 5 or 6 touchdowns, 1 game a year, and then he averages 60 yards a game. Will get barely over 1,000 yards, but will have 9 touchdowns. So oh wow, he had a pretty good year. No, he had 1 game with 6 touchdowns. That's how it works every year. Look back at the last 3 years. It's always happened. His defense, he's a complete overhaul. Offensive line, they continue to throw money at it and draft picks, and absolutely nothing's working. Nothing's working. I don't understand why nothing's working. They keep signing, keep drafting guys. No one can stick. Maybe it's their coach. Maybe it's the scheme. Something's not working. But this Bengals team, I'm officially out. I cannot hope for this team to get better. Again, I may be wrong, but for me, the hype is dead. If they continue to play exactly how they are for the rest of the year, they might win 9 games, might win 10 games, and that's their cap. They'll be a first-round exit. We'll be saying, wow, what a wasted year for this team. T. Higgins is then a free agent. Jamar Chase doesn't have a long-term deal. Joe Burrow is the highest paid quarterback in the league. This defense, a lot of guys are gonna have to become free agents because of money. You won't have a B.J. Hill, a Trey Reader, a Trey Hendrickson for the future, Sam Hubbard. All these guys are getting paid a lot of money. They already let Jesse Bates go. All these guys that are getting a lot of money, they can't be on the roster anymore. If you want, Tyler Boyd won't be there anymore. If you want to pay Orlando Brown, if you want to pay Joe Burrow, if you want to pay Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Mixon's not, he'll only make like $7 million a year now. But if you want to pay those guys the top of the line money, it is what it is. You're gonna have to let other guys go. That's what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing. Their entire defense is basically on rookie contracts. Outside of Chris Jones, their offense, almost everyone's on rookie contracts. Outside of Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who definitely won't be on this team next year. But like, you have 3 guys that you're paying money to, and Justin Reed. It's a safety. So like, it's interesting. It's interesting what the Bengals are gonna do. But I'm done. As of the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, this quarter review, I am done. I'm out on the Bengals. Next team is the New York Jets. It's so unfortunate. This team, unless they make a trade for a Kirk Cousins, a Kyler Murray, but you can't trade for Kyler because he's on a multi-year contract. So like a Kirk Cousins is exactly what the New York Jets need. So unless they make a trade like that, I'm done. Zach Wilson's awful. Just awful. He's bad. He shouldn't be in the league. That's how bad he is. Everyone else is playing at the level I thought they would. Mecole Hardman has done absolutely nothing this year, which sucks. Because the Browns wanted him. We offered him 1 year for $7 million. He took the Jets offer 1 for $8 because Aaron Rodgers was there, and he thought he was going to get used because Aaron Rodgers was going to use him. Aaron Rodgers goes down 3 snaps into the season. Is already walking without crutches, though, 5 weeks later. So maybe Aaron Rodgers comes back for the playoffs, but they're not going to be in the playoffs. Playoffs? We're not making a playoffs. Like that meme is exactly what the Jets are. Their defense is playing as good as I thought they could. But with how bad the offense is, the defense is on the field for 80% of the game. So they're tired by the fourth quarter, then they get blown out. It's just bad, man. It sucks for Robert Saleh. It sucks for this offense, for Nathaniel Hackett, for Aaron Rodgers. If they don't make a trade for Kirk Cousins, I think the trade would be a good idea for both sides. Kirk Cousins, hey man, we're the Vikings, we're tanking, right? Who are also a team that's on this list. We're tanking. We're going to trade you, get a second round or a third round pick back, and we're going to just have Zach Wilson as our starter for the rest of the year. Zach Wilson and a third round pick for Kirk Cousins. Maybe something to make the money work. I don't know. Mecole Hardman too, because Justin Jefferson's out for the next 4 weeks. Do a trade like that, and then Kirk Cousins plays the rest of the year with the Jets. When Aaron Rodgers comes back, Kirk Cousins takes the bench and say, "Hey Kirk, thank you for your help. We're going with Aaron Rodgers though. We're going with Aaron Rodgers." Obviously, Kirk would have to be okay with that. Kirk's not going to be okay with that. Obviously, he's a competitor. He's going to want to stay with the Vikings. But I don't know, man. If the Jets can do something like that, I won't be out on them. But if they have Zach Wilson until Aaron Rodgers comes back, or if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back this year and Zach Wilson's their starter for the entire year, they're not making the playoffs. I'm out on them. I'm done. I can't. It sucks. I was really high on the Jets as everyone else was in the season, but I got to be done with them. The next team's going to be a little bit of a surprise. It is the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if you guys are watching these Buffalo Bills play. It's horrible. Just bad football. They've had a few games here or there that are pretty okay. That Dolphins game, everyone was clicking. That Commanders game, everyone was clicking. But they lost the Jets on September 11th. Week 1 of the season, they lost to the Jets. They did beat the Raiders, cool. But I don't know, man. They're 3-2. They got beat by the Jags. Like, they're not pretty wins. Kind of like with the Philadelphia, again, the Eagles are not on this list either, but kind of like the Eagles, they're winning in ways that is dumb. They should not be winning these games. Now, they're about to go through a gauntlet of easy teams. They're about to play the Giants. Easy. They're about to play the Patriots. Easy. They're about to play the Buccaneers, which is going to be a challenge. That's a little bit of a challenge. Then they're going to face the Bengals. Right now, it's easy. Then they face the Broncos. Easy. Then they face the Jets. Easy. Their next 7 games. Their next 7 games are against bottom 10 teams or teams that they could win. The Buccaneers is probably their hardest game in there. That's their hardest game is the Buccaneers, which is insane to say when they're going against the Bengals in those 7 games. but they're going to beat the Giants. They're going to beat the Patriots. They're going to beat the Bengals. They're going to beat the Broncos. They're going to beat the Jets. They might beat the Buccaneers. I think the Bucs could win that one. That's 5 wins that are going to look bad. They're going to be bad football, but the other team is so bad that they're going to beat them. Josh Allen has thrown like so many interceptions. Now again, he's cleaned it up the last 2 or 3 weeks, but it's not been pretty. The offensive line is not playing well. Defense is now just hurts. They're just hurts. Matt Milano is, I think, out for the season. Trey White tears his Achilles. The other linebacker. Oh my gosh, what's his name? Or was it a D tackle? Another defender is also out with a pec injury. He's out for the rest of the season. That's 3 starters out for the rest of the year. And, obviously, their safeties are old. Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde are old. They're just not the same as they were back in 2020, 2021. Those 2 years where they were really good. They're just not that same level anymore, which is okay. They're old. But this Bills team, I feel like they're not good at drafting. I just don't think they're good at drafting. I mean, look at their roster. Josh Allen, drafted. Going over. Spencer Brown, drafted. Deion Dawkins, drafted. Gabe Davis, drafted. I'll go like that. On defense, Greg Rousseau, drafted. He's actually had a really good year. I'm very high on Greg Rousseau. I'm actually happy for him. Matt Milano's out now. The secondary is suspect at best, but both safeties were signed in free agency. Like, this is a bad defense. Like, it's just not good. And for the defensive coordinator takes a year off football out of nowhere. That's weird. But I just don't think the Bills are playing that well this year. Josh Allen is definitely taking a step back. Still is a top 10 quarterback, but it's definitely not the second best quarterback in the league anymore. I don't know, man. Like, I don't think the Bills are that good of a team. I'm out on them. Because every time I watch the Bills play, Josh Allen is bad. Their defense is bad. The offensive line is okay. Stephon Diggs is quiet. Honestly, the game I don't watch, he goes off for 3 touchdowns, and that's the week I face Stephon Diggs in fantasy. But every time I watch Stephon Diggs, he gets like 80 yards on 4 catches. Quiet. That's quiet in today's NFL. 4 for 80 is a quiet game for a guy like Stephon Diggs. So I'm out on the Bills. Again, I may be wrong in the future, but last year, you can look at the podcast, I said Josh Allen is no longer a top 5 quarterback. I had Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts. Who was it? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. I remember I got a lot of heat for it from people I know. I still stand by it. I don't think Josh Allen is a top 5 quarterback. I think he throws too many risky balls. He tries to be the hero in every single possession, tries to do too much. I still believe that. I don't think Josh Allen is a good quarterback, but I want to find that video because it has my rankings. There it is. Knicks 2023 QB rankings. I want to pause it and go towards the ends. I had Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, top 5. And I still stand by that today. I still stand by that. I mean, like, the defense for the Bills is better than the Chargers. But I still think that Justin Herbert, giving him that Buffalo's defense, give him the head coach of Sean McDermott, give him the ownership and the GM of the Buffalo Bills, who actually know how to, like, sign good free agents. Oh, I'm going with them. I'm going with Justin Herbert on that team. Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow, I still have over Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson is easily, when healthy, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I even have Trevor Lawrence above him. I have Josh Allen as 7, and my number has not moved. I will still stick him at number 7. I would still stick Josh Allen at number 7. That's how much I'm low on the Bills. I would sell my stock if I'm a Buffalo Bills believer this year. Come back next year, I'm done with the Buffalo Bills. That's me personally. That's my take. It's a hot take, I know. Next is the Tennessee Titans. I'm done. I'm done with the Titans. I get it. Mike Vrabel is one of the best coaches in the league. He turns a, at best, 6-10 roster into a 9-8, 10-7 team every single year. Every year they're in the running for the division, in the running for a playoff game, and then they win a playoff game. Every single year. But it's too much this year. Ryan Tannehill is a shell of himself. A complete shell. DeAndre Hopkins is okay. Derrick Henry is a shell of himself. Offensive line, bad. Defense, mediocre. It's not the worst in the league. It's not bad. but it's definitely not what it used to be. This team needs a complete rebuild. Complete rebuild. Rookie quarterback, which obviously they keep doing Will Levis and Malik Willis, but they need to get like a top 10 pick, get one of those quarterbacks, get rid of all the veterans. Anyone who has any value, get rid of them. Trade them, cut them, whatever you got to do. Complete rebuild from the ground up. Mike Vrabel, if you don't want to do that, good luck, man. You are good enough to coach a playoff team. Go to one of these teams that are about to fire their head coaches, because there's going to be a lot of head coaching positions open at the end of the season. There's going to be a lot of them. So you can go to one of those. The Chicago Bears probably will be completely open. I mean, that's a horrible team playing. Like the Bears are good. Matt Eberflus is probably going to get fired. Probably more than likely. Sean Payton might be one and done in Denver because of how horrendous that team looks. Like, there's going to be a lot of openings in the NFL this offseason. So if I'm Mike Vrabel, if I'm the Tennessee Titans, complete rebuild, and if I'm Mike Vrabel, I'm just gonna go somewhere and I'm gonna go to one of these teams that just fired a head coach, get at least 2 or 3 years of a job, and hopefully turn that team around. Because the Titans have got to completely rebuild. I'm done. It's bad. They're all old. They're all past their prime. Everyone on that team. You just need to move on. Next is New York Giants. The team, I wasn't super high on the Giants coming into the season, but I did not think they were gonna be this bad. I did not expect them to be this bad. I really thought that the Giants could be a 9-8, 10-7 team in that division. Maybe sneak in as a 7th seed and lose in the first round. That was my prediction for them this year. They wouldn't be a 14-3 team. They'd be just good enough to get into the 7th seed at best and lose immediately. They're not going to win 8 games. They're just not going to win 8 games. Daniel Jones is bad. This offensive line is bad. Saquon is fine. Darren Waller's not been used correctly. This defense is bad, pitiful, horrible. Like, the Giants are falling off bad. I have a feeling that ownership got involved with the Daniel Jones extension. There's rumors that John Mara, the owner, went into Joe Schoen's office. I believe is it Bill Schoen? But they went to the GM of the Giants office and said, hey, sign Daniel Jones or you're out of a job. DJ's got to stay. I was the one who really wanted him. I told the former GM, Dave Gettleman, to draft him, and I'm going to make sure he stays on this team because he's led us to a playoff victory. I would not be surprised if that's the case. Ownership involvement was definitely not shocking. But it's bad. The Giants, I'm done. They're going to maybe win 8 or 9 games. Then for the Minnesota Vikings, that's my last team on here. It's over. It sucks. I know. Last year you went, I believe, 10 or 11-0 in one-score games. So I always knew that you weren't going to be as good as you were last year. And I've been saying that since day one. That they're going to, every time a team wins that many games, one-possession games in a season, they always fall off the next season. Now, I wouldn't expect to fall off to where they'd be 1-4. Didn't expect that. But they always fall off. The 2019 Seattle Seahawks are a perfect example. They went 9-1 or 8-2 in one possession games. Then they fell off the next year, went like 8-7. Like they barely made the playoffs in 2020. Exact same thing happened. The Vikings aren't gonna make the playoffs this time though. There's not. So if I'm the Vikings, I'm trading Kirk Cousins. Justin Jefferson, I'm trading him too once he's healthy because his receiving season record is over. He's out for 4 games. He's done. But let's see what Jordan Addison has. Let's see what he has. Can Jordan Addison be that wide receiver 2 or even a wide receiver 1 for us? Because I'm trading Justin Jefferson, getting multiple first-round picks back. I'm trading Kirk Cousins, getting a second or third-round pick back. I'm trading Danielle Hunter, maybe getting a second or third-round pick back. I'm trading Harrison Smith, maybe getting a second or third-round pick back. I'm trading anyone who has any value on this team. They're out of here. If I'm Kwesi Odafe-Brown, former assistant GM of the Cleveland Browns, if I'm Kwesi, I inherited a bad aging roster last season. Last season, in our first year, I hire a head coach. We do amazing. This year, injuries have killed us. Bad defensive play has killed us. We are year 1 of a 3-year rebuild, as I said in my latest press conference. I love Kwesi. That's why I watch this press conference. I love any former Cleveland Brown executive who now is a GM. I think it's awesome. So Kwesi said we're in year 1 of a 3-year rebuild. Well, guess what? Kirk Cousins ain't in the 3-year rebuild. Want to know who is? Drake May, Caleb Williams, Shador Sanders, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Quinn Ewers. Any of the top 10 QBs ranked in this class are a part of the future. Preferably Drake May, Shador Sanders or Caleb Williams. I'm tanking for that number 1 overall pick. However pick I end up at, that's where I'm taking a quarterback. That's me. If I'm the Vikings, I'm done. Kirk Cousins, let's not let him walk in free agency. Let's get some kind of compensation back. Even if it's a 4th round pick, I'm trading Kirk for a 4th. I'm trading Justin for multiple firsts. I'm trading anyone who has any value because we're done. We're done. We're not playing well. This team is not going to continue because they continue to not play well. I'm keeping the head coach. I'm keeping the defensive coordinator. Brian Flores is his first year back as a defensive coordinator. On offense, Kevin O'Connell is a good head coach. We saw it last year. Giving him another year or two to see what he really is made of with a rebuilding roster. That's what I'm doing. But yeah, that is my teams that the hype is dead. Hype is dead a quarter way into the season that I think I'm going to stick with for the rest of the year. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification to be notified when I post next. Again, every 4 or 5 weeks, a video like this will come out. So halfway through the season, around week 9, week 10, I'm going to post both the hype is real and the hype is dead. Then week 14, 14, 15, and then week 18 going into the playoffs will be the final. The hype is real for these playoff teams, or the hype is dead for these playoff teams, predicting who's going to win a game, who's not going to win a game. So if you guys are excited for this, I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye. Make sure to subscribe. Thanks. Bye.